Alright, what is up guys? Ninjas here, and today we're kind of stepping away from the norm. I'm going to be recording a game review. Now you're probably sitting there like, hey, aren't you supposed to be streaming for me? Aren't you supposed to be recording a game for— know what? No. No, I'm trying something different. Want to try something new. So here we go. Let's just get right into it. So, today, you may have seen this game a lot. I have been streaming it quite a lot. As soon as they finish the game, I will be streaming it again to finish it. It is I May Die. Now, before we get right into this, the developers actually watched my stream. I'm not sure if they watched the full stream, but I'm guessing they have because I've completed the game, and one of them even goes as far to say that I'm maybe the first person to fully complete their game. Or not the first person, but the first YouTuber to fully record and just beat the game altogether. So here are their comments right here. They should be popping up anytime soon. Again, I'm just recording the audio for this, so whatever. You're probably the first YouTuber to record so far into our game. As character designer for I May Die, I can only thank you and hope you enjoyed our little masochist gem. Not sure what masochist means, but guessing that's something good. So, apparently I am the first. Thank you for the props for that. It was a really, really fucking hard game. So, thanks. I really I Jesus, I can just remember the pain from beating that shit. Oh, but whatever. Alright, next comment we've got here is, thanks for playing our game. Boss of Chapter 7 and levels in Chapter 8 are still on development. So again, before we get into this review, I just want you guys to know that this game is not finished yet, so I'm just putting it out there as is. I'm going to give the good things, bad things, everything with the game, and I'm just going to review it. I really don't know how well this is going to go, but I guess we'll find out. So, why don't we just get right into this review? Alright, so basically an explanation of the game and the story behind it. Okay, so it's about a green gummy bear named Willie who lives up on a floating island surrounded by a ceaseless void. Every time I record that, every time I say that, I cannot help but just think, what am I even saying? Not to offend developers or anything, but my god, that is a very, very odd plot line. So, our story begins as soon as he walks up to his little makeshift dock, and it of course breaks. How he built his house and his house is not falling down is beyond me. So he falls down into what he thought was a ceaseless void, but is actually a cave. How he's not dead? I'm guessing that's because of his very, very flexible, gummy interior? Alright, well, whatever. Let's go talk about some of the good things I liked about the game. Alright, so some good things I enjoyed about the game. First of all, gameplay. So, in gameplay, it kind of has a lot of sections, like controls. The controls really aren't that bad, especially since I've been using a controller. Really, really changed my life. So, pretty solid there. They even have a wall jumping feature, which you don't really see in too many indie platformer games all that much, which is kind of sad, but why not? It really just kind of adds to the game, and they put it in well. So, next, enemies. Oh boy, you will be running into them a lot, and they really go to enhance the gameplay. It kind of adds a really large challenge to it, from eyeballs that shoot laser tears at you No, I'm not making this shit up. This is a real thing. And they are very, very good at killing you. And that isn't even to mention that they come in multiple different colors that have different abilities. So, the green ones kind of shoot at you at a somewhat regular pace. Really haven't had too much trouble with them except that part. I forgot which fucking level. I think it was around the first cave. My god, that guy gave me quite a bit of trouble. But it is nothing compared to the other guys. So the next one you will see, the red boy. Oh yes, this thing shoots multiple lasers at you that really aren't too hard to avoid. So I guess they kind of put them in nice spots so they don't give you too much trouble. So I think the level designer with that. But then I think these guys gave me a bit of trouble, and even one of the fucking, oh my god, one of the developers, or not developers, but the level designer, which is a fucking developer, what am I even saying? Came onto my stream and even gloated about them. The blue boys that shoot out a tier that turns into multiple. That can get really annoying on many levels, I will tell you. But that's not even getting started with some of the other things. The missiles are, I think, the next enemy you will see. They shoot a heat-seeking missile at you, which, yeah, I guess I'll just let that explain it for itself. I mean, I really didn't have as much trouble with them as I thought I would, but, eh, whatever. The flamethrowers are decently annoying, and that's all the enemies I'm going to talk about right now for this section. But now we move on to animation and graphics. My god. I mean, what can you say? For an alpha, I believe, this looks really, really nice, so I'll give them props for that. The animations are really good, especially on all of the characters, and there's some really creative characters, like a bowl of soup. I mean, all of them are really, really creative. There's a bowl of soup, a raccoon, even a ninja. A ninja fox, I'm guessing? Which has its own. All of them really have their own backstories, but again, it kind of takes away from the story, which I will get into in the bad section. So, let me see. Do I have anything else? Oh, yes, the challenging level design. My god. This will keep you there in the game for quite a while, and I really did have a blast playing through all these levels. They really do have some challenging parts to them, I'll give them that. But there are also bad things that kind of take away from the levels. But I guess we'll get into some of my grievances now. Again, for the developers, I'm not hating on your game. I'm just telling you a few things wrong with it that you could fix. That would just make the game all the better. Alright. This is Willy, but you already know that. He's a little green gummy bear who lives in a treehouse on a floating island. He loves to fly and see the world with his beloved Mary, a plush giraffe who lives next door. Uh, hmm. Yeah, let me just go and read the quote from the beginning of the story. Lonely floating island. There was someone who lived alone. He never met anyone. The only interesting he could see was the darkness of the void that surrounded his island. Now, I really haven't seen this in games much, where the story conflicts with the character descriptions, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Now, this needs a section of its own, and is a very, very big mistake by whoever decided to pass this. and just look directly over this. I mean, I guess you really wouldn't expect a character to conflict and poke a hole in the whole storyline, but happens in movies, I guess it can happen in games as well. So, what happened to that whole being lonely thing? That's heavily emphasized by describing his island as lonely. In fact, I can mark off not one, but 4 times that they mention lonely in the main storyline. Not once did it say anything about a stuffed giraffe living directly next door and him being able to fly. I'd I think that even conflicts with the main plot that an apocalypse happened. Did his plane somehow survive this? Again, I really don't know who passed this character, but it she really doesn't make sense of the story. So I'm guessing either there was somebody named Mary who really, really wanted to be in the game and didn't really care about the plot line, or this character just was passed and they really didn't look over it too much. Now, a way to fix this would be maybe you can have Mary find the floating island on a plane that she somehow found in the apocalypse. Unless the whole world is destroyed, we really don't know. But I mean, there is a floating island technically, so. Yeah, and if there's a cave system, I'd assume that there would be other things still alive after whatever war happened here in this world that we don't really know much of, but I believe they will emphasize it in the story later. But again, that's just a really, really stupid mistake to make. I mean, I really don't have much else to say about that, but you really need to change that storyline because it kind of conflicts with the main story, and you don't want any sole character to conflict with the main story, especially the main description of the protagonist in the game. But they could be updating this soon. I really don't know. I thought I'd just point this out. I guarantee somebody looking over the game has to have seen this. So maybe they will be fixing it in the distant future. Maybe changing the main storyline. Or just simply fixing this character or removing the character altogether. I don't think they will remove the character, but just maybe add a little fix like she finds Willy with her plane, flies up to the floating island, is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And then maybe I don't know. I really don't know, but you really need to fix that. Now, so this is more of a problem with the gameplay. Now, I like in this game how when you die, you get right back into the game, unlike most other platformers of the hardcore category. Usually, those platformers will send you right back to the beginning of the level, which can be challenging or can be annoying depending on what you're playing, or have a death screen which kind of stops the game, which is in most usual platformers. But this one doesn't really have a death screen. It just gets you right back in there. The enemies are still going, everything's still going. So, I kind of like that about the game, but the problem with that is it comes at the cost of enemies, especially timed enemies, being a really, really huge annoyance. And that's kind of a shame. Like, there was this one level where, since everything is going in real time, when you die, the level continues on. The timed enemies continue, like spikes, Tesla coils charging up. They continue on. And there was this one level where I believe you have to take a leap of faith into a Tesla coil that you cannot see, which that really annoyed me. I don't think I died at it first. But then I looked back at it, I was like, eh, what if it was perfectly timed to where it would kill me? And that can happen, especially this killed speedruns especially. Because the fun part about platform speedruns is going through, trying to be the fastest, shaving off time, seeing where common places are to die, and finding tricks and things you can do to avoid these spots. But that kind of takes away from it, because if let's say you make a mistake, because I mean, in this game, you're definitely going to die at least once. That's just evident. You're going to die at least once in this game. Now, there are some places where the devs try and trick you, which also gets really. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'll squish it in here, but anyways, like, you're going to die at least once in this game. But then, that completely screws up the pattern, so you can either reset the level, which will kill your time, or try and continue on from where you are, which will also kill your time, because then the pattern you just recognized is completely gone. So that is kind of a minor annoyance to me. How you would fix this is just basically, let's say, when you die at a checkpoint, it'll reset the level. There, people know that when you die in the level, it'll reset it to the beginning of the level so that everything is perfectly normal and everything's perfectly fine. But I realized that boxes, those boxes that you push around, that might come at the cost of those. So how you would fix that is either put a checkpoint right next to the boxes so that obviously the player can just respawn directly next to the box and push it into the saw blade that they need to push it into. Or whatever you're doing with the box. I haven't seen levels 7 to 8, so yep, I'm not really sure about that, because chapter 7 and 8 are not done yet, so I'm not sure if boxes play different rules then. They did add in power-ups, which I do actually like. But anyways, now, squished into this section, we are going to talk about traps. Oh boy. No, I'll keep these in the middle. I kind of like the traps, and I kind of don't like the traps that the developers put in there. So, the level designer, I believe, purposely put areas in the game where, let's say you go through, it's mostly through the portals. The other one's with the Tesla coil, but it is mostly when you go through portals, always expect spikes right there to go through where you're trying to go through. And that can get really annoying at times, especially in the later levels, where these traps can send you all the way back to the latest checkpoint. Usually, they put the traps right near your checkpoint, but I believe in the later levels, it starts getting to the point where if you go through the portal and fall into a trap, you're sent all the way back to a checkpoint that was you hit ages ago. Not really ages, that might be a bit of emphasis on there, a bit of a elaboration, or however the fuck you say that. Probably wrong on all parts of that, but whatever. So, please don't do that. Especially, I swear to God, I haven't finished the boss. I mean, the boss can't be that bad. Also, the bosses, Jesus. So, the bosses, I'm sorry to say, but, they really aren't that difficult. Compared to the levels are extremely difficult, but the bosses are kind of bland, if you would like to say that. They kind of don't really show much of a challenge except for the worm. Now, the worm, my god, I think this is the boss that I had the most trouble on, but it wasn't really that much trouble. So the worm kind of just can kill you automatically. No, I'll just show a quick quip. I don't know why I pronounced it like that of me trying to fight the worm. Sometimes the worm kind of glitches out. He'll spawn directly on top of you, and that can get really annoying. I don't know. This was all supposed to be about just this certain topic, but I guess I just kind of bunched everything into there. But really, some of those issues are just little petty issues I have, kind of like traps. I mean, you can avoid them, but they are just a small annoyance. So, really, developers don't take that. I mean, the traps, as long as, I swear to God, they're probably going to go overboard on level 8. It's the last level. I'm guaranteed they're going to go hard on us. But, it's still playable. They even have a skipping feature, which I actually forgot to talk about. The skipping feature allows you to get coins, so you have to play the levels over and over again to get coins, which not really sure that should be allowed because you can play one of the first levels and the easiest levels over and over again until you get the amount of coins you need to skip the level, but again, it does increase in price every time. So, yeah, you're probably better off beating the level normally. You can't skip all the levels, which I find to be really actually pretty nice. That's a pretty nice feature that they add, and it increases in price each time you play up. So that, if you want to skip a harder level, it gets a whole lot harder to skip that level. So that's a pretty nice feature that they added in there. But, anyways, that is about it for this video. At the end, I kind of just spitballed ideas, showed some of the other things I don't like, so, it's my first review. So, what would I give this game? I'd say a 7 out of 10. No, maybe a 7 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. Now, some of these things like the gameplay, you know, the level not resetting each time so there's no recognizable pattern really gets annoying. And let me see. No, I'd say yeah, a 7.5. Not really sure, but a 7 to 8 out of 10. Really enjoyable. That's how it is right now. I guarantee as soon as they fix some of the plot hole issues, some of the gameplay issues like the levels not resetting, which they're probably not going to do because hell, that would have them reset all the boxes, which yeah, that would be really really annoying, but whatever. The game is still possible to beat with these issues, so at least it's possible to beat. As you can see, I've beaten the game. You probably will be tempted to skip some of the levels, but you can beat the game as it is right now, so I'll give them that. That's really good. So I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for that. Just for those two issues, subscription, subtracting 2 points for that. Well, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my first review of a game. Oh boy. But the next game I will be reviewing. Ooh. Ooh, we're gonna have quite the fun time. But, anyways, my first review, but not my last. So, bye bye. Also, if you want get the game, yeah, you can just go down in the description below and take a look at that. So yeah, go. You can download the free version, but I would recommend the $4 version. Okay. See you later.